Okay, so we have the overhead squat. Now we're looking in, this is our first in the lateral view. We're looking at the lumbopelvic hip complex, and this would be an example of us seeing an excessive forward lean. So this is an instance where as we squat down, we're unable to keep our torso upright, and this anterior side of our lumbopelvic hip complex wants to kind of collapse in a little bit, and it has trouble fully extending to an upright position. Now you see that there's mostly the muscles here in the front side, the anterior side of that lumbopelvic hip complex, but we also have some down here in the ankle that we'll get to in a second. So we'll start on the front side. What you'll see is our six-pack muscles, so our rectus abdominis and our hip flexor complex. Those are the ones that really play into us, feeling we're sandwiched and we aren't able to fully extend and get our, our hips opened up. This happens a lot when people are sitting too much, and the front side of your hips and your torso start to get, the tissues get tight in that position. So six-pack rectus abdominis muscles, and then I also listed, so you have your, this rectus femoris, which is the quad muscle. It's a knee extensor, but it's also a hip flexor. So I've put those ones on there for you guys. Now, if we peel back the layers a little bit, you'll also see in the hip flexors, your iliacus and your iliopsoas. Now, and I can put these guys on there too. So all of these ones contribute as hip flexors, and what's important that that these muscles, especially, these are very, very important muscles, the iliacus, the iliopsoas, and the psoas major and minor. What's important to note about these is, if you look, these are the only muscles that attach and originate from your spine and then attach to your femur. They go across your pelvis and attach down to your femur. So thinking about why is the torso collapsing forward, if these muscles are not able to get opened up and they're kind of in this locked tight position, so to speak, then you're going to see that it's a hard time to open up. So these have to get stretched and loosened up. Iliopsoas, your iliacus here on the inside of the hip, and then your psoas minor and major. And so if you loosen these ones up, you'll be able to stand upright a lot easier, and you'll avoid having that excessive forward lean. Now, if we go back to, let's add these muscles all back on. Okay. Now, take you on a little bit of a ride. If we look at the gastroc, right? So we have the gastrocnemius, the calf, and our soleus. The reason that these are important when we think about, let's add that back on. Why would this contribute to someone having an excessive forward lean? If you think about, as this person's squatting, they need to have a certain amount of hip flexion and extension. They need to have a certain amount of knee flexion. And if they aren't able to have the requisite amount of ankle dorsiflexion, right, where as they squat down, that shin will go forward and we're able to keep a flat foot. What happens is, as we squat into this position, if these muscles are too tight, the heels are going to want to raise off the ground. And in order, again, right, we stay balanced. So if we see that we don't stay in a good flat foot position, you're going to compensate by your torso coming forward to keep you in a balanced position. So that's why these ones are included. Gastrocnemius, soleus here down in the lower half of the body, and then our rectus abdominis, rectus femoris, and then that iliacus psoas kind of complex in the hip flexor complex. Those are the ones that are going to contribute to being overactive if you're going to see that you're having an excessive forward lean in that overhead squat.